Hello guys, today I will be explaining about the trigonometric ratio part 2. If you haven't watched the first section, please watch it first because you have to know that is the prior knowledge that you have to understand before going to this part. Okay, so I'm going straight to the explanation. So before you are learning about how to determine the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent side, and also the value of sine, cosine, and tangent of an angle like theta. Okay, so I will be writing again. Again, this one here is the Sohchahatoa. Previously, you have learned about this, and this will help you to memorize the sine, cosine, and the tangent, how to find them. Okay, so for this lesson, we'll be focusing on determining the length of a side from a given angle. So I'm going straight to the example here. So you will need a calculator to calculate this calculation. So I suggest that you get your calculator ready, and I'm going to explain a couple of buttons that you might not have pressed yet before. So yeah, so take your calculator with you. This is the first example. We have a right-angled triangle PQO with Q, the vertex Q is 90 degree, and the length of OP is equal to 8 centimeter, and then the angle size of POQ equals to 30 degree. Let's name this angle with theta. So theta is 30 degree. So find the length. The question is find the length of PQ. Okay, so when determining the PQ, you cannot use the Pythagorean theorem, right? Which is the c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. Why? Because you only have one side, right? So in here, you need at least two sides to determine the other side. So you only have one. So you cannot use this one for this case. Okay, so instead, we're going to use this theta, the theta here, to determine the value of PQ. So before doing this, we need to determine the name of the side for each of the side of this triangle. So with the corresponding angle in here, which is 30 degree. So let's do that again. So again, the side in front of the 90 degree, which is this one, right? So this is what we call the hypotenuse. So name that with hypotenuse. And then because the theta is in here, right, the 30 degree, so we name the side in front of this 30 degree with the opposite. So that leaves the other side, the last one is the adjacent side. After doing so, we need to determine which side do we want to know. So in here, we want to know the opposite, right? Because the PQ in here is the opposite. So let's connect all of the information that we have to the question and determine which of these three sohcha or toa that we are going to use. Okay, in here we have the opposite as the questions. We don't know that yet, so let's name it with X. And then we have the hypotenuse, which is equal to 8 centimeter. And then we have the theta, which is equal to 30 degree. So in here, what we have is the opposite and the hypotenuse. So from these three, the opposite and the hypotenuse, the ratio of opposite and hypotenuse is the sine, right? It's sohcha. So what this means is that sine theta is equals to opposite over the hypotenuse, right? So because we know that the theta is 30 degree, so we can rewrite that as sine 30 degree, because it's 30 degree, is equals to the opposite, which is equals to x. We don't know that yet. And the hypotenuse is equals to 8. So again, using a simple algebraic method to solve this, you only need to put this 8 going here, right? So remember how to do that. Or you can use, okay, I'm going to use this one. So we need to multiply both of the sides with a number so that the x is alone on one side. So let's multiply that with 8 and multiply this with 8, right? So it means that it will be cancelled, right? So in here we have only 8 times sine 30 degree is equal to x. So you use your calculator to find the value of 8 times sine 30. So in here you have this button here. So if you see it here, we have sine, cosine, and tangent. So you press, because we are looking for the sine, so you press this one here. So press 8, right? And then multiplied, and then sine, and then write down 30. And then you will get the answer. So if my calculation is correct, it will be equals to 4 centimeter. Okay, so let's go to the next example. Example number 2. So we have a right angle triangle like this, and then we have this side here, 20 meters, and then this side is x, and this side is the y. And this angle here is theta. If theta is equal to 65 degrees, so let's name that 65 degree in here. So find the value of x and y. So for this case, you have to do it one by one. You want to find the x first or the y first. So it's up to you. You want to find which one first. Is it the x or the y? The first thing that you need to do is to determine the hypotenuse, opposite, and the adjacent for this 65 degree or the theta. Okay, let's start. So the side in front of the 90 degree, this one here, we call it the hypotenuse. And then the side in front of the angle theta is the opposite. And that leaves the last one here is the adjacent side. So the next step is to find the value of x or the value of y. So in here, let's say I want to find the value of y first. Okay, let's name y with the hypotenuse, right? And then as we know that in here, we know that the opposite is 20 meters, right? And then we know that the theta is equal to 65 degrees. So from this information, again, we connect the information that we have to calculate the value of y. So let's connect them. So we have hypotenuse and opposite. So we have so, cha, and toa, right? So because this is hypotenuse h and O is the opposite, so we're going to use this sign, right? This opposite and hypotenuse. So what that means is the sine theta is equal to opposite over the hypotenuse, and we know that the theta is 65 degree. So it's sine 65 degree is equals to 20 over the hypotenuse is the y. So how do we find the y? So solving an algebraic equation. So let's put the y going here. So it will be a multiplication. So it's y times sine 65 degree is equals to 20, right? So because we want to know the value of y, so the sine 65 must go to the other side. So this one here should go this way. So it leaves y equals to 20 divided by sine 65 degree. So again, use your calculator to determine the value of this calculation. For my calculation, it will be 22.0676. 22.0676. So it depends on the questions. If the question asks you to find the number with just one decimal place, so you need to round this up, so it will be 22.1 meters. Okay, so the next one is we want to find the value of x because we have already know the value of y, right? So how to do this? You do the same thing like before, right? Naming all of this information, like the x is the adjacent here from the picture, and then the 20 is the opposite. So actually you can use the y, this one you want 22.1, or you can use the opposite. I'm going to use the information from the first information that's given from the questions, okay? So and then we have the theta is equals to 65 degree. Again, you connect the adjacent and the opposite here, as we know from the sohjatoa, right? So the adjacent and the opposite is the tangent, right? So we have tangent theta is equals to the opposite over the adjacent. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the tangent of 65 degree will be equals to 20 over x, because the opposite is 20 and the adjacent is the x. So just solve this equation. So I'm going to swap this. You do the same thing like this one here. So you have x is equals to 20 divided by tangent 65 degree. Okay, use your calculator. Okay, for my calculator, it will be 9.32615. Again, it depends on the questions. If you're asked only to write down one number behind the or one decimal place, so it will be 9.3 meters. Okay, so this is an important note for you guys. So when you want to multiply, divide, or do any kind of operation to the sine, cosine, and tangent, you do not multiply this number here with a number outside. Okay, so when we multiply that, let's say we want to move this here, you cannot write it down like this. No. Why? Because this is as 1. This is 1. So you cannot multiply the 65 with x. So you need to find the tangent 65 and then you multiply with x. It doesn't work like this. Okay, so it works like this. So it's tangent 65. If you want to put the x on the right side, you need to put bracket on the tangent 65. Right, so that leaves the same thing. You have tangent 65 degree. And here's another example. When you want to find the value of x, you can just move it here, right? So you can just move the 8 in here. So again, you cannot do it like this. No, it's not correct. So what you need to do is to put the bracket on the sine 30 and then times it with 8. Or you can put the 8 in front of the sine 30. So 8 times sine 30 is equal to x.